Okay, so we had the question about how to make a rim even after it's leather hard. So you can see here, I actually cut this off level. And you can see when it's going around, it's sort of touching my finger and then not. So that means my rim is not level. So you can cut it at when it's soft, like when it's still on the wheel, or you can cut it at leather hard. So I'm first going to show you with this is just a needle tool that's really thin. It's a Kemper needle tool. These are about like $1.15 at your pottery supply, but the thin one is better. So I'm just going to touch inside and I'm just going to touch with my needle tool. Notice that my arm is anchored and my other hand is touching, and I'm not rushing, okay? So don't be in a hurry to go into your pot, because if you are, that's when your needle tool sort of starts to move around and it might get caught and come up, and then it's really hard to fix that. You have to go lower. So notice that it's taking a minute. Maybe we'll speed this part up. Oh look, my wheel's going faster, and now the nice thing about when it's leather hard is it just flies off. You do have to go lower than the lowest point so that you can get a nice cut on it. So another thing I'm going to show you is this knife right here is from Diamond Core Tools, and I recently bought it because I like the Dolan knives, but those are impossible to get right now, so I'm looking for a good alternative. And this is a really thin blade on here, so if you have something like this, you'll see it's a lot faster to travel through and easier. So if you have something like this, either the Dolan knife that's real thin or this Diamond Core one, that also works. So next thing I'm going to show you really quickly is how to get this to look like you threw it. So what I do is I just take a trimming tool and I cut off this inside corner, and then I cut off this outside corner, and then I'm just going to round this out. So one thing I forgot to mention earlier is you want to be sure that you do this before you trim the bottom for a couple of reasons. It's going to make trimming the bottom easier because you won't have your pot sort of coming up and down. And then the other reason is I've got a lot of clay down here that's helping me anchor this to the wheel head, and I don't want to mess up the bottom of my pot by having all this clay here when I have like a nice thinly trimmed foot. All right, so let me just take my sponge. I squeezed all the excess water out of it, and if I run my finger over this, I'll be able to achieve a look that very much mimics a wheel thrown rim.